What a turnaround. That magic from 8 to 15. Jeez, Delhi didn't know where to hide.
Absolutely unbelievable. So in that time, normally what you get is sides unsure of how to play it as they try and set themselves up for the end. And it's been the time where Delhi have managed to profit by, Ashwin and Akshar coming in and making sure that nothing happens. In fact, they've continued to take wickets in that time. This time around, it didn't matter who they bowled. Well, Rana-Narine were on fire.
Yep.
Shots galore, just shots absolutely everywhere. And yeah, it's good to see, because we at the start of the tournament, we said that this side has the potential to do so. I must say, it was surprising for me in terms of it being Narine who gets it all started and it gets going. As far as Rana is concerned, we know that he can play those shots. We know he can play that way. And so some of the shots that he's played are not a surprise to us. However, that they get it together, their hope is the spark that they've needed to kind of spark their whole side into action.
They almost threw it away, Polly, with that little run-out chance. If Akshar had just lobbed the ball to Nokia, right? Narine had just given up, but Akshar decided to go for the direct hit. Very early on, this game could have been completely different, but that's the kind of luck you need going your way when you want to launch a turnaround.
Yeah, it is. And, when you've worked in the management part and the coaching side, you do stress the point of how valuable a brilliant catch or a bit of fielding or things along those lines can be in a T20 match. And Nokia did brilliantly. Once he realized there was confusion, he got back to the stumps. But it needed a cool head from Akshar just to pop the ball into his hands, because Narine had stopped here. He had basically parked his anchor halfway in the pitch and was just waiting to see what current took him where. And it's a case in point. You practice those kind of things because you know how important dismissal at that time, and Delhi could have really done with it. It was really impressive. We said at the 10 over interval chat that the mid-innings chat that the only reason could be that they wanted him to go and play with freedom, and he did. He expressed himself brilliantly, and it paid off. For me, still, Morgan 9 balls of an innings. I would definitely think that him and Karthik would have to swap roles. The only time I've seen Karthik in this tournament play a decent knock has been at the back end in the last 3 or 4 overs, where he gets down sweeps and plays that way, whereas Morgan can control things a bit better. So definitely a change between those two, but the experiment to put Narine at that stage, brilliant from Kolkata.
Pommie, they could have. Kolkata will go back, and of course they've got a lot from this, but they will go back and say, the position that we were in, we could have closed this game out. We would have done better than 50 of the last 5 after what happened between 9 and 15.
Yeah, look, I think a side that's going well will say that. A side that has been batting well will say we could have closed this out better. And I agree with it. They could have and probably should have closed it out better at the back end and got more than 52. However, for them, I think it's more about the big picture. How they've got to 194 is kind of more important, because how many times do they have to bat to get that, comparing what happened the time before? So you just take what you can get sometimes. Yeah, 2.5 times. There you go. But you take what you can get sometimes and you move along with it in the hope that if some part of what you're trying to do is correct, it will then help with the other part. And the first part was okay, and it was only okay, right, when they lost a couple of wickets early. And so, yeah, the middle was more than they'd have ever dreamed of.
Yeah, I think also the mindset, wasn't it, of the first 4. I mean, Raina for the first part of his innings, including Gill and Karthik and Tripathi, it was almost like those guys were just thinking, let's get a score on the board and then see if we can kind of defend it. It was only when Narine came in, and I don't think he thinks about his game too much. He was like, well, I'm going to play. And once he got going, I think they'd have to pinch themselves. I know they didn't finish as strong as they might have been able to, but I think 115, 56 balls between that combination, I think they'd honestly be pinching themselves, and now they've given them a real opportunity. Narine will obviously try and play a part with the ball as well.